Hi everyone. In this video I'd just like to cover a little bit about selecting the right kind of perspective to communicate effectively the product or the thing that you're designing. So I have some pre-drawn examples here. I just wanted to do is to save a little bit of time so you didn't have to sit through me kind of sketching these out. But I did want to discuss them. So here, for example, we have three rectangles. So it's the same rectangle but drawn either, so if you can see here, if that is the horizon line there, I might just draw that in, I'll draw that in a red, so sort of see if that's your horizon line. We have the same rectangle drawn above, so kind of floating above the horizon line, below, and straight through the center. And when do you know when to select the right one? So I guess, you know, make it make sense, keep it logical. So say this floating rectangle above, when something's above the horizon line, you generally see this in designs that are made to fly. So something like, you know, a helicopter, or say you're designing a drone. That would be a pretty good perspective to choose, like, you know, drawing things above the horizon line, because people would naturally be used to seeing them above their heads. Remembering that, you know, that horizon is kind of where the person's eye level, like that's where a viewer's eye level would be. Likewise, things that are below would generally be things that we look down onto. So you know, obviously something lower than us, like the seat of a chair, you'd generally be used to seeing below you. Maybe a tabletop, you would be able to draw from this perspective. And things that are right on our horizon line, they're usually larger things. So if you imagine the last time that you saw maybe perhaps a bus or a train, you would have probably seen it around the center, because it would have been at your eye height. And you know, you can sort of see that the lines here, converge, both lines converge to that point. Then, you know, they both go down towards the center of that object. So that sort of indicates that, you know, your eye level's there. So again, it just helps to suggest a potential application, but also a size, I suppose, for these things. You know, if you drew the table in this perspective above the horizon line, it wouldn't be incorrect. However, it would really be quite confusing for people to observe as a drawing, because they would think that either this is a really, really large table, or I've just been shrunken down to the size of, you know, a mouse or something. So yeah, just, I guess, choose, you know, above, at, or below the horizon line. Choose that carefully depending on the application context. And on the topic of scale, when you're choosing, you can sort of see on this page here, the vanishing points, my vanishing points are here and here. And because they're on the page, these are quite extreme perspectives, though these lines converge at quite a rapid rate, these sort of side lines. So you can see here, I've got a bit of a comparison with this sketch. In this sketch, they are somewhere on the page, so somewhere here and there, the vanishing points. And with this one, they're actually way off the page. If we tried to project it, it would be maybe somewhere here, and then the other one would be somewhere there. And I just wanted to show you the difference between these, because normally when you see a product drawn like this, it looks like something that is maybe more graspable to a human. So, you know, you draw something like that where the perspective is slightly more relaxed, and these lines kind of converge at quite a relaxed rate, and it makes it seem somewhat smaller in size, in scale, then when the lines converge at quite a rapid rate, that might be maybe, you know, something the size of a kiosk or something, but you're actually looking at it from maybe a helicopter view. Or so just be careful when you're selecting a perspective. The more kind of extreme you go, sometimes it could alienate the viewer, because they might start to maybe perceive it at a different scale. Whether that's your intention or not, just something to be aware of. Also, another thing when presenting your designs. So here, I actually have the same design, and what you'll notice is there's an area I've sort of, you know, suggested that maybe that's my kind of primary sketch of it, and this area here, so that kind of opening is actually something that that's kind of, for me, that's key. So it's something I want to highlight. So yeah, I drew that, but then I realized it's not quite showing off whatever detail, what's happening back there. So when something like this happens, draw it from the other view. You know, this is kind of, you can see it's the secondary drawing because the primary one's in front of it. But if you draw it from the other view, then this detail here, you can actually communicate much more clearly when you draw it from behind. And it is important to, you know, not every sketch can show every detail of an object, but if the detail is important, don't forget to communicate that to whoever's viewing your work. And finally, I just wanted to, when you're drawing something, so quite most often, I suppose, we draw in 2-point perspective, but don't be afraid of applying 1-point perspective. So if you actually notice that this is actually drawn in 1-point perspective, so all of this kind of, you know, this center line, all of these, they all converge towards a single vanishing point. And don't be scared of 1-point perspective, because sometimes when you're drawing something like this that's symmetrical and you want to sort of emphasize that symmetry, it can actually be quite a powerful method to use, a powerful perspective tool to use when you're communicating your sort of symmetrical designs. So, right, I hope that's been somewhat helpful for when you're communicating your concepts. Just remember to, I guess the most important thing is just to remember to make it easy for your viewers to understand what context you're trying to communicate your designs in. Cool, thanks for watching.